Hello, welcome to Laser Etched Coaster. My name is Ken. I'm the Digital Services Specialist at the Barrington Area Library. To complete this tutorial, you will need to download a free software called Inkscape, which we will use to create our designs. After your design is complete, please send the PDF file to digitalservices@balibrary.org. I will remind you how to do this at the end of the tutorial. I will then send you an email when the coaster is ready to be picked up at the library. Also, feel free to email me with any questions that you have about this project. For those of you that signed up for the program, there will be no charge for this coaster. Because space for the program is limited, if you did not sign up, or if you are watching this video at a later date, you can still complete this tutorial, but please note that we charge $1.50 per leather-like coaster for projects outside of programs. These are the four color options for coasters. We have black, brown, tan, and gray. These coasters are not real leather, but they have a very similar feel. When you email the file to me, please indicate which color you want your coaster. Let's first start at balibrary.org, and then we'll scroll down the page. Under upcoming events, we'll see Laser Etched Coaster. Go ahead and click on the event. And now scroll down this page, and we'll see the first link says download Inkscape, and the second says link to the template. So first, click Download Inkscape. That will bring you to inkscape.org. And then go to Download and click on Current Version. And then you will see downloads for Windows and Mac. If you have a Windows computer, click on Windows. And then you have the option to download either the 64-bit or 32-bit version. Most likely, you will want to download the 64-bit version. The only reason you would want to download the 32-bit version is if you have a much older computer. And if you have a Mac computer, just click this link and it will instantly start to download. And then we can click this link to download the template for the coaster. It brings us to Google Drive. This is the template here, so go ahead and click on this download arrow, and within a matter of a few seconds it will be downloaded to your computer's downloads folder. Okay, so we're back in Inkscape now, and we want to import the template. So let's go up to File, and then click Open, and then find the Laser Etched Coaster template in your Downloads folder, and click Open. Depending on your view in Inkscape, you might not see it right away. It might kind of be over to the side here. So an easy way to do an automatic zoom is to hit the 5 key on your keyboard. And then we get the automatic zoom where we see the full template. First, let's make sure we're using the right measurements for this document. So let's go back up to File and then go to Document Properties. And here we want to make sure our display units are inches and that the units over here are in inches as well. If they're not in inches, then please change them. Like a lot of other programs, you can scroll up and down, you can scroll left to right to get a good view. You can hit the plus key to zoom in and the minus key to zoom out. And again, if you want that automatic zoom, hit the 5 key. That gives us a great view of the whole document. You will see that there are 2 circles on this template. The outer one is the size of the coaster, and the inner one is where the coaster is stitched. So we want to make sure that our designs are completely inside of both of these circles here. At the end, I'll show you how to delete these lines so that they don't actually etch onto the coaster. Okay, so now let's talk about our design. I will go through two options with you today. The first option will be making a design with an online tool called Monogram Coasters. The second option will be searching for an image on the internet and importing it into Inkscape. I will also show you how to add text to your design. If you already have a file that you want to use, then you can skip ahead in this video to the part where I talk about importing files into Inkscape. Let's talk about Monogram Frames. So go to a browser and type in monogramframes.com. This website is a great tool if you want your design to be made up of letters and frames around those letters. So let me show you how to do this. You'll notice on the left-hand side we have a list of fonts available. All of the fonts with a single letter, you'll only be able to type one letter. All the fonts that you see with multiple letters, you'll be able to type initials or a whole name. On the right-hand side here, you'll see the frames, and you can scroll through and see that there are plenty of options to choose from. You can choose any of these, but I find that using a circle looks really nice on coasters. Also, you can choose a design that is a different color like this, but just note that it's not actually going to etch in that color. All the coasters will etch black, except for the black coaster, everything will etch silver, like shown in the previous examples. I'm going to first choose a frame. I'm going to come over to the letters over here. And I'm going to type my name. If you want to change the font, all you need to do is just click and it will automatically change after you have typed in your word. If you scroll all the way down on the fonts, you'll notice these bottom two are pretty cool. Since we are doing a circular design, you can do initials and it will look more curved to fit the circle. Because the font is curved, not all initials are going to look amazing, but it's something worth trying out. You can also resize the font with this slider on the bottom. Also, if you don't want any letters in the middle and you just want the frame, then you can type in the text later in Inkscape. So when we're done designing it here, let's download it. If we scroll down the page, on the left-hand side, you'll see this light blue button that says download your files. Go ahead and click that. And then click this checkbox that you've read and accepted the terms. And we want to download an SVG file. So click on SVG, and then that will be in our downloads. So let's go back to Inkscape and import that. Now we're back in Inkscape and we want to import our monogram frame. If you have another image that you want to import, then how you do that is go to File and then choose Import here, and then find your file in the Downloads folder or elsewhere, and then click Open, and then click OK here. And we see that it placed it pretty nice here in the center. If it didn't place it, then you might want to zoom out and find it and then, drag it onto the template here. Okay, so now let's resize this image here. Click on it, and then you'll notice in the corner there are arrows. Hold down the Control key on your keyboard while you're resizing, and then it will resize proportionally. If you're not holding down Control, then it is going to warp and not look great. So I'm going to undo that. You can also go up to the Edit menu to undo mistakes that you make. So again, I'm holding down Control and then clicking and dragging the corner arrow here. And that looks better now. So I want to center this image, in the middle of the page here. And so it's really easy to do. When the image is selected, then come over here to the Align tool. If you don't see this over here, then you can go to the Object menu and then go to Align and Distribute, and then this menu will pop up. So if I want to center it, all I need to do is choose relative to the page, because then it's going to center it to the document here, and choose center vertical and then center horizontal, and then that gives us a perfectly centered image here. Since these coasters are circles, it doesn't make sense to rotate the image, because you could just rotate the coaster later on. But just for your own reference, if you ever are using Inkscape and you want to rotate something, then just click on the image a second time, and then these arrows are going to change into rotation arrows, and then you'll be able to rotate it. Okay, so before we save it, we want to delete these two lines. And again, the reason for this is if we left these two lines, then it would etch lines right there, and we don't want that. So just click on one of the lines and then tap delete or backspace on your keyboard, and then click on the second one and delete it again. So this is how we want it to be. We just want the square document here, and then your design in the center. So now we are ready to save. So go up to File and go to Save As, and save it as your name, your first and last name, .pdf. If you need to change the format to PDF, come down here to this drop-down box and choose PDF from the list, and then click Save. And then, once you email me at digitalservices@balibrary.org, then please attach this PDF file. And also, another reminder, tell me which color you want the coaster to be. Okay, so now let's talk about importing JPEG or PNG images. Okay, so I just did a Google search for baseball silhouette. Anything that you search for, it would be a good idea to use the word silhouette or clip art after it. It would be nice to get an all black and white image, so then it's easier to trace that image inside of Inkscape. Okay, so I found an image that I like here. I'm going to right click on it and then click Save Image As. So I saved that to my desktop, so I'm going to go to File and then Import and choose Desktop and the baseball PNG, and then click OK. So now it's imported here. Since it is an image file and not an SVG file, we will have to convert it to an SVG format. So in order to do that, we go up to the Path menu up here and choose the third option, which is Trace Bitmap. Click OK so that we'll see the image here. Since this is just a preview, the image over here might look a little bit grainy, but that's okay. If you don't see your image at all after clicking OK, then you will have to increase the brightness threshold, so then just click the plus sign over here until you see your image. Once you see the outline, like mine is, then go ahead and click OK. Okay, so the traced image is on top of the old image, so click and drag to separate these images. And so you might be wondering, well, which one do we want to keep? We want to keep the one that the line passes through on the edge here. So you'll see that this one, when I move it, like the line in the document, it doesn't pass through the back of it. So we want to delete that one. This one is good because we see it's just the outline. It's not the full border of the original PNG file. So again, we will have to resize this. Hold down Control and drag inward to make it smaller. And again, let's center it relative to the page. So this is the Align and Distribute menu, and choose Page over here, and then click on Center Vertical and Center Horizontal. And you'll see for my image here, you'll see the foot is actually coming off the edge, and so that is not going to print. I can manually move this object here. So I can click and drag and kind of center it like that. Another thing you could do is you could use the arrow keys on your keyboard to move it up, down, left, or right. Sometimes centering it perfectly is actually not ideal, like in this situation. So I want to nudge it up and down with the arrow keys. Okay, and then I also want to show you how to add your own text within Inkscape. So on the left-hand side, we see all the tools. Click the letter A, this is the text tool over here, and then go ahead and click on the document, and then you'll notice a cursor is there, and you can type anything you want. You can also choose from a wide variety of fonts. If we come up here where it says sans serif, that's the default font. If you just click inside that box, and then if you tap down on the down arrow key, then you can basically scroll through all the fonts and find one that you like. And you can change the size of the font over here. And sometimes fonts are available in bold as well. So if you want to move this text box, then all you need to do is click on the top arrow tool over here, and then you'll be able to move it wherever you want like that. Okay, so now before we save the coaster, let's delete these two lines. So go ahead and click on those lines, and you'll just see a box appear over here, and then tap delete on the keyboard, delete or backspace, and then click on the second one and then hit delete again. And then both lines will be removed. And then go up to File and Save As, and then save it as your first and last name. Thank you so much for completing today's tutorial. Have a great day.